There are many places in the image production process where you can change how your image is rendered, from putting a filter in front of the lens to the image editing software on your computer. Now, somewhere in the middle of all of that is your camera. And if you're a JPEG shooter, the camera is the only place where you can make these adjustments and still have access to your full sensor data. Picture styles are Canon's solution to this problem. They provide you, the user, with control over how color, contrast, sharpening, and so forth are controlled and how your picture ends up being modified or rendered. This is part 2 of my ongoing deep dive into Canon's picture styles. Last time, in part 1, we looked at what the picture styles were and how they affected your image. This time, we're going to look at how to change and customize the picture styles in your camera. Now, before we get to changing the picture styles, it's important to know that like many settings on your camera, picture styles are stored separately for photo and video modes, as well as for the base auto exposure mode, so program, shutter priority, etc., and the custom user modes. To put this another way, because this is always confusing and I never know which way makes the most sense, let alone to me, let alone to anybody else, picture styles are stored separately for 8 different groups of the exposure modes on your camera. Now, 6 of those are for the custom user modes. That's the 3 custom user modes in photo mode and the 3 custom user modes in video mode. The other 2 places or settings cover all of the normal exposure modes except for full auto. So that would be aperture priority, shutter priority, program, flexible priority, manual, and bulb. And one group is for photo mode and another set is for video mode. So, for example, selecting a picture style in aperture priority in photo mode will cause that style to be selected if you change to flexible priority, shutter priority, manual, program, bulb, etc., as long as you stay in photo mode. But not for the 3 custom user modes in photo mode or any of the modes that you have in video mode or exposure modes in video mode. So if you change a picture style and then switched from photo to video mode and notice the picture style is different, this is why. Now, speaking of changing picture styles, on most Canon cameras, the picture style can be changed in one of 5 different places. These are the camera's menus, 2 different quick control screen menus, the custom button or using a custom button function, or using the dial function menu. We'll start by looking at the camera's menu system. You'll find the picture style setting in the red shooting menu section. Now, depending on your camera's model, you will find this on either page 3 or 4 of that section. Selecting the picture style menu entry will present you with a list of 11 picture styles. That'll be auto, the 7 basic named picture styles, and 3 user-defined styles. Now, next to each style's name, you'll see 6 numbers, or 4 numbers and 2 letters if you were shooting in monochrome. These show the style's settings for sharpening strength, sharpening fineness, sharpening threshold, contrast, saturation, and color tone, respectively. Now, with that said, there is more to picture styles than just those settings. The picture style itself also contains color transformation and tone curve information that allows them to alter how colors are rendered much more significantly or deeply from what's shown or accessible in the camera's user interface. Hence why we have multiple picture styles. Now, to change styles, simply select the new style that you want and press the Set button, or straight in on the multi-controller. Pressing the menu button or any of the metering start buttons, for example, half pressing the shutter release, will take you out of the picture style menu without changing the style. You can also fine-tune the picture styles, sharpening, contrast, and color adjustments through this menu by pressing the Info button with the style you want to edit selected. We will be doing a much deeper look at those changes and adjustments in part 3, so I'm not going to get into that here. Now, if digging through the menus isn't exactly your thing, there are 2 quick control menus where you can change picture styles as well. The first is the Live View Quick Control Menu Overlay. When you bring this up by hitting the quick control button, the Q with the box around it, or the virtual quick control button, you will find the picture style setting fourth down on the right-hand column, at least unless you've edited it on those cameras that support this. Now, the icon will be the icon for the currently active picture style, indicating which is active. Now, as always, with the quick control menu, you can use the quick control dial on the back of the camera or up and down on the multi-controller to move the yellow highlighting cursor to the desired function, or you can just touch the setting directly on the LCD screen. Now, once the picture style is selected and highlighted, use either the main dial, the second quick control dial, that's the one on the top of the camera, left or right on the multi-controller, or just touch the desired setting at the bottom of the LCD to change the picture style to it. Now, unlike the main menu, changes made in the quick control menus, as well as with button functions and dial function menus, take effect immediately. Also, like in the main menu, you can press the info button to fine-tune the currently selected picture style setting. Now, finally, when using the live view, quick control menu at least, the dial function menu, or the button functions directly, you can see the picture style's effect immediately on the live image as you change things. Now, the second quick control menu that you can use is found through the number 5 info screen. That's this one with all the camera settings on it. The picture style is on the left end of the third row found here. Now, like the live quick control menu, the icon shows you the currently selected picture style. Now, once you've selected it by using the multi-controller to move the current cursor, you can change the setting directly using any of the dials on the camera, or you can press Set or Straight In on the multi-controller to enter a submenu where you can change both the active style or hit Info to make adjustments to it. Now, picture styles can also be changed using the dial function menu or a custom picture style selection button. Now, neither of these are set up or enabled by default. So if you want this functionality, you'll need to set up this in the button customization menus. Now, in the R1 and R5 Mark II, this will be found on the first page of the green button customization section, customize buttons for shooting. On the EOS R, other EOS R cameras, I should say, this will be in the orange custom functions menu section, usually on page 3. Now, for the dial function menu, you'll need to select the button that's assigned to the dial function menu. By default, this will be the MFN or multifunction button. Then select the button function, or select the button to get to the button function detail menu. And then in the detail menu, press the info button to customize the dial function menu settings. Now, for a button function, just select any of the programmable buttons in the list, and then select the picture styles option from the list of functions that can be programmed to that button. Picture styles is available on most of the button functions or programmable buttons on the camera. The final way to change the picture style is using a dial function. Now again, this is not set up by default, but if this is something that you want to do, you can set this up by going to the dial function customization menu entry. It'll be on the same page as the button function customizations we just looked at. And then selecting one of the dials, this will probably be either the quick control, the second quick control, or your lens's control ring, and then selecting the picture style function from that. Now, when you turn, for example, the lens's control ring, that will change the picture style instead. Now, one final setting that I want to talk about before I go away from this is a new OVF simulation view assistance mode, and it's found on at least the R5 Mark II and R1. Now, according to Canon, this feature is designed to cause the viewfinder's image to look more like that of an optical viewfinder found in a DSLR than the WYSIWYG display in a mirrorless camera. Now, I haven't yet fully dug into and understood all the nuances of what exactly happens with OVF Sim mode. But the major aspect that's relevant to our discussion here with picture styles is that when it's enabled, the live image view or the live view image bypasses the picture style processing. So that doesn't happen. Now, the impact of this is that is most obvious if you've selected, for example, a monochrome picture style, which under normal operation will cause the camera's live view to be monochrome as well. However, when OVF Sim is enabled, the live view feed will remain in color. And this applies both to the EVF and the LCD's output, but not an external monitor, so something to be aware of. That said, OVF simulation and really all of the rest of the display simulation modes are a significant enough feature that I will be doing a video on them in a lot more detail at some point in the future. It's on my to-do list, it just hasn't been done yet. So that covers all the ways you can change a picture style on your Canon camera. Next time, we're going to dig into how to customize the picture style in camera and what those customizations do and look like. That said, I hope you found this useful, or at least interesting. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button. Also, if this kind of thing seems like it might be your kind of thing, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Finally, if you'd like to help and support this channel, you can help us for free by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and leaving a comment with your experiences. Likewise, you can support us by hitting that thanks button or buying yourself something you've always wanted from one of the affiliate links in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.